Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2018 album review, and this is also my first video of the new year, and what a good way to kick it off with a brand new album that came out today. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into the new album from the band Watain entitled Trident, Wolf, Eclipse, which came out today through Century Media Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Watain, they're a black metal band hailing all the way from Uppsala, Sweden. They formed in 1998. These guys have released a total of 5 full-length albums, as well as like 3 live albums and a number of demos and EPs. I first discovered Watain about 2015 or so. It was around the time their last album, which came out in 2013, The Wild Hunt, was already out. And I first heard that, and I was like, I actually like this, and I decided to check out their other albums, such as like Lawless Darkness and the Swords of the Black. I think that was what the album was called. And I actually had saw Watain back with the Black Metal Warfare with Mayhem and Rotting Christ, and I thought, damn. And these guys are known for like their theistic satanist views for live shows with like the candles, satanic rituals, and like animal carcasses, and like spitting like blood to the audience. and I think they put on a sick show. And like I said, this new album, Trident, Wolf, Eclipse, is the follow-up to the Wild Hunt. So it's been a while since we heard some Watain, like 5 years for any new music. And this album, and I actually, when I first heard it, I was like, I actually like this. I think it's a lot better than the Wild Hunt, to be quite honest with you guys. I don't know. It's just really good. Like the production is just creepy and evil sounding, which I fucking love, since I've lately been getting into a lot more black metal. I've been having a lot recently, and I've just now fell in love. It was kind of like something I was kind of like lukewarm, but it's kind of grown on me, and I love it. Like the vocals from Eric Danielson is just sick as always. He does the sickest black metal vocalist, and the guitar work is just insanely just all over the place, and just the drumming is just, oh my god, it is just fucking brutal, man. I'll tell you that. But without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, the album opens up with Nuclear Alchemy, which right off the bat, it just all guns blazing, no wind, bells or frills approach to set the tone to this powerful release. Some insane blast beats in the beginning, and this track was actually released as like a limited edition 7-inch. And then we go into Sacred Damnation, which begins with even a faster pace with like deadly blast beats and minor tremolo picked riff. If this track kind of sounds like classic Watain throughout, and there's no room to breathe or escape. And halfway through the track, it has like sort of like a clear guitar, almost kind of reminds me of something from like Spill the Blood by Slayer, with like the hi-hats building into like a perfect wah effect guitar solo. Telfulshrik, I probably fucked that up. I mean, this is pretty much as clean as this album is going to get. There are no like clean singing or acoustic sections on this album. This track has like a repetitive minor arpeggio riff that is being picked alongside some heavy reverb tremolo picking over this feedback over the double bass drumming. And also, I think this should be noted so far for this album is almost kind of like a live experience of the band, where their feedback and no frills approach. This track is just full on from the beginning, and there's just no time to be wasted. And it just always feels like a live show, which I think is kind of like the approach with this album. Then we go to Furor Diabolicus, begins with just as the guitar playing in a minor power chord progression with feedback in the background from the previous song. The rest of the band sort of kicks in with hammering drums and distant lead sections. Like, this is a really impressive track in terms of like the tempo changes and like the groove of the song. The production is still modern, but sort of like maintains the raw and older Watain sound, which kind of like older fans would appreciate. And Eric's vocals are just powerful, and there are a number of distorted effects on his voice in this track as it swirls into like the darkest voids of our speaker. A Throne Below is another fast in your face track, which kind of reminds us of like some like older first wave of black metal bands like Celtic Frost, Bathory, and Venom, with just like the raw sound, like the texture throughout. The middle of the song has descending tremolo picked guitar parts with heavy pounding drums before breaking right into the high tempo double bass to the end of the song. And then we go into Ultra Pandemaniac, Neck pans right from the left with distorted bass and like Eric hissing in the background. The drums kick in with some impressive fills, and the song opens up to one of my favorites on the album. The tempo flows from a groove to blast beats in a few seconds. It's definitely one of the heaviest on here. The song almost kind of has like an 80s vibe to it with a classic production and like whammy bar guitar solos. And the song ends with demonic voices laughing and the feedback in the background. And then we go into Towards the Sanctuary, has a slower 4/4 beat with galloping guitar riffs and dissonant vocals from the start. The song then progresses into Blast's double kick and more of a melodic guitar parts, which again hints sort of like the early black metal influences. This release really captures the early days of the band with sort of like its old school approach. And towards like the 3-minute mark, there's sort of like a Bathory style old power chord riff with different bass notes being picked in the background. It kind of reminds me a little bit of something from Lawless Darkness. And then we go into The Fire of the Power, has an icy strummed riff with backing power chords, and this track is lyrically great and again reminds me of like sort of like the early black metal days. And you could definitely hear it like a non-black metal influence on this track, or just like 80s metal in general. And you can sort of like hear like a new wave of British heavy metal vibe channeled within like the drums and the vocals. But then it kicks back into like the main like cold sounding riff. And then the album closes with Antichrist's Miracle. Oh, this is not a song, but more of like a spoken word ritual from Watain to close this album. It's kind of unexpected. It's like such like a fast and powerful release with like bells chiming and acoustic guitar making it its first and last appearance, picking like the final intro. Now overall, Trident Wolf Eclipse is a pretty good album, like a good way to start the new year with some good black metal. And if anybody's going to see them at the Masquerade, they're playing in there with Destroyer 666 on March 23rd. On my birthday, which is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. But if I were to give the new album a score, I'd definitely give this probably a solid 9 out of 10. Great way to start off the year with some good metal. So yeah, that's my review of the new Watain, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.